What was it about the advertising of that time, 70s and 80s, that helped influence the look of the show?
I mean, this was also one of the really fun things I felt prepping with you, Mihai, was like exchanging like the grossest American advertising images we could find from the period. I mean, for me, it comes from the fact that like a main theme of the show is this idea of like this bought and sold happy white America. And like that's Larry Bird, that's the Celtics, that's like what basketball is at the time. And then like the shifting of culture into black culture, you know, in black culture into pop culture, and like the power of that and the power of what magic means for a culture, and the pushback that like was happening between like white America and you know, like, so I think like that is felt in the advertising. Like you look at the images back then and it's like these happy white families and like all this kind of stuff, you know. And so we were looking for the way America looked to Americans on television and in magazines, and then taking that and stripping that look back, you know. So I think like we each used it more for like each episode focuses on a certain character's flashback in their life. So we looked at like the dominant advertising of the period of whatever that flashback was and sort of riffed on that. I mean, episode 2 has Jerry West's flashback, right? His like childhood in the early 60s. So we found like, you know, early Kodachrome advertising images from the 60s, these like really poppy, candy-looking images of American families. But so we shot with a look like that, but what's going on in the images is like an alcoholic father who sent their child off to war and who died in the war, and now they're making their younger child feel guilty for that. I mean, this like broken American family, you know?
What were some of the ads that resonated with you, Mihai, that just felt, you know, as something to kind of look at as inspiration?
I'm trying to remember, but like one thing that stuck with me was the use of hard light. And, you know, it's like now we're so in like everywhere, you know, if you think about it, and it's like, because that was the tool of the era. I mean, like we're so used to soft light and like, I don't even remember when the Kino flops came out, but like way later. So it's like, it was this idea which you find in still photography quite a lot. It's like you can work with one light and you'd better choose carefully where to place it. And there are of course tools to soften it a little bit, but most of the times you didn't have those. So you'd better choose it carefully and see where you place it. And you see that pretty much everywhere. It's like the use of hard light compared to today's imagery where everything is soft, everything is, you know. And we discovered that with everything. It's like we had such a joy of like not filtering and not using like soft filters on our lights, and just like sometimes use. I remember with Josh, our gaffer, like having an Arimax with no diffusion as a front light, and we're both looking at like, it's pretty great. Should we? Yeah, let's keep it like this. Let's go for it.